So, what is regenerative farming? Okay, you see like this right here, like probably a little bit of that is my property and I do need to clear that for a fence, but yeah, like all that ain't my property. So this is just an example. This is like an area which has been logged like 20, 30 years ago, and it just, regrew back. I mean, it just regrew back. Like something just flew in my ear. That was weird. But yeah, and it just regrew back. That's kind of what land does. Now over here, I've been working on this, and this is in process, and this does need to be bush hogged down. So we're not gonna so much hit this area on the regenerative, but this is part of it. This is part of it. What I'm trying to create out here is a savanna, which is like what the land pretty much used to look like a couple hundred years ago before, we start messing with it. But I'm gonna go back in the woods a little bit and show you a little better example of what, I've been doing, because you really, unless you've just been following the whole time and knew what this looked like beforehand, which this is a dramatic change from what it looked like beforehand already, you're not gonna so much see it as much, because actually over the years I've cleared this, because all this did look exactly like that. So I've been doing this over some years, so it does eventually flatten back out. But yeah, this has never been plowed or tilled up or anything. But I'm gonna go back and show you a little more. Okay, before I go out in the woods, I'm gonna share this little article with y'all. Songbird nest success positively related to restoration of pine oak savanna woodland in Ozark Highlands, Missouri. You can tell from figure A, there's no grass, there's no life, on the ground. Like there's nothing growing on the ground. That's kind of like part of the problem. That is actually a fire hazard, and basically thinning and fire is the method of cleaning that up, but we'll get to that point later. Okay, I'm back at the other end of the property for better perspective, because I did that up front years ago, had no idea about regenerative farming, regenerative agriculture, silvo pasture. I didn't know nothing about that then, and I really did just cut all the trees down. But see, I didn't do that back here. There's still trees. I thinned out the trees, probably still a little more thin than I could do. But, like on the example with the picture, there's a tractor over there. But on the example with the picture, you see, you look down here closely, you can see the rye grain coming up, the oats. See, you can see there is plant activity coming back to the understory. So you can see how this is getting restored back to, I would say, a mixed pine oak. I say, it's a mix of hardwood and softwood savanna. Up front, we'll plan up front later, but just sticking with the whole savanna thing. Okay, this is another article about what these people did. Woody Invasive Species Clearing Project. Basically, they removed the invasive woodland species out of their area. Pretty much, they said that's pretty much kind of what I did. Yes, hand tools and fire. We've been doing this for a long time. It don't really take a whole lot of heavy machinery, although that would be quicker. But from what I found, in some instances, machinery cannot actually reach some places and do some things as effectively as humans. And better yet, animals are a lot more effective than, even humans in some regards with this. So that is another part of regenerative farming is, the use of animals. And I haven't got to the point where I'm using animals yet, but basically I'm trying to get, to that point. Basically, I've removed a lot of invasive species, and then that was over the summer. So I'm going to try to, continue like that over the winter. And actually, I've planted oats, rye, wheat, some brassicas, uh, winter peas. I planted several species, in the woods, and actually even up front. I don't know how it's going to work out as much up front. So, basically, I'm trying to restore some life to the soil because basically you see, like, I don't know if you can really see at this point where there was bare soil. You can kind of see, like, basically the soil is pretty much eroded. It's just dirt. It's just dirt. So you basically have to build a soil layer. And another thing with removing the invasive species, that, like, areas like that, they stay moist and they have a lot of mosquitoes, ticks, snakes, all the stuff you don't really want. All the stuff you don't really want. So that is another part of how this helps the environment, just cleaning up those things. And also, aside from all that, unmaintained land is just unproductive financially. It is financially unproductive and not beneficial. What if there was a way to actually generate income and make it look better? Because you got to admit, like, the picture after looks a lot better than the before. The after looks more like a park setting. Okay. Livestock is used in regenerative farming and agriculture. Uh, Actually, in this particular application, it would be called silviculture. And silviculture can be more than just cattle. It could be pigs, it could be goats, it could be sheep, it could be chickens, it could be a variety of different livestock. And basically, you incorporate livestock into a forest area. And like you see, there's forage actually for the livestock in the trees, between the trees, because the trees are spread out enough that the sun goes through the canopy and it can raise forage for the animals. This is a good second, provides another income source for the landowner, and it's beneficial. It's beneficial to the soil, it's beneficial to the air, and it's actually beneficial for the trees and the whole ecosystem. Also, cattle help in the maintenance of the understory and keeping out invasive species that you don't want there to begin with, and to help maintain a park-like setting uh, in the savanna in a silviculture setting. Okay, I thought I do have a good example of what unmanaged land looks like. Uh, this is actually like, yeah, close to where I grew up at. So I know for facts, my whole life, this has been like this for like 40 years. This place was probably logged and clear cut maybe in the 70s. And nothing has been done since. You see, nothing is really on the ground but leaves. There's nothing. Well, I guess it is kind of opening up a little bit because all the trees is dying. But yeah, it's not healthy for the trees. Uh, I mean, it's not really preferable for, the wildlife. I mean, I'm pretty sure the deer would rather eat some higher energy something than whatever is here. But yeah, that's just an example. Okay, from the standpoint of profitability and aesthetics, which one do you think is better? the left or the right. There's no way you can profit from the left other than pretty much just selling a property, bulldozing, and making it into something else. But in the meantime, I would say on the right is it's better for the soil, carbon secretion, whatever. I can't even say the word. We ain't even gonna go there. But basically, it traps the carbon in the soil. You're not using herbicides and pesticides, and you're producing forage fed, grass finished beef, pork, chicken. You're producing a better quality meat without being in contact with herbicides and pesticides, and there's the less likely need, to even use vaccinations and, things like that within the animals, because they're being moved within a natural setting and they're foraging for food versus being just fed and sitting in their own poop. You know what I'm saying? So that's the benefit I see with regenerative agriculture, using regenerative agriculture and landscaping. Because from the picture on the right, that looks like a more valuable property. It looks better. You can easily take out the cows, take out a couple trees. You got a nice looking subdivision. You got a park. It maintains a park like setting. And even if you don't want to keep maintaining livestock, it gets the property to a point where it is maintainable. Also, it's a great economic benefit to the local economy. Let's say that you have a property that you're not using, and it's pretty much just sitting there, just going to waste. You could partner with somebody and they could start, doing these practices of regenerative agriculture, uh, silviculture on your property, and you all arrange a lease and partnership. And I mean, that's another source of income for you and another person. And just the beautification and just what it does for the soil health, the air, and better quality food. I think it's just a win-win all the way around.